Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. One officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, cause the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Netrunners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teams scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your man, Stan. Join me for another day in our City of Dreams.
All right, everyone. This is going to be a channel update and a little bit of a Cyberpunk 2077 tease. I'm going to have a series coming out, obviously. I've downloaded it, installed it, and I'm configuring my system to be able to record it. Now, the experimental part is that I still don't have my gaming rig fully set up. I'm still in the process of building it. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to play and record on my recording rig. And right now my recording rig temporarily has my new GPU installed in it. So the problem with all of that is that I'm overloading this system playing Cyberpunk and trying to get OBS to record in 4K, 60 frames per second. So I noticed when I started up OBS and played that I had some screen fracturing, first of all, on my TV, on my display. So that's not so good. And I don't get that screen fracturing at all when I just play Cyberpunk. So obviously it's telling me, my system is telling me that it's getting taxed pretty well right now. Now you may notice, or you should notice by now, that I've got some numbers up in the upper left of the screen, and that's from MSI Afterburner. I've got that going while I'm playing, just to give everybody an idea, because this isn't, I should have said right from the start, this isn't going to be, there's going to be basically no Cyberpunk gameplay in this video. This is just a channel update, let you know where I'm at with playing Cyberpunk and where I'm at with configuring my systems to do that, to record it anyway. Not so much to play it. I could play it right now with just the recording rig, but of course I want to play and record and upload a series. And I'm going to hopefully choose a character here. Now, I'm not going to save this character. I'm just going to go through the character selection process and design a character that's going to be very close to what you're going to see in the series. So maybe, hopefully that's interesting to you. And again, the whole idea here is to explain system, the choices for the settings, all of that stuff. And hopefully that's interesting to you as well. And yeah, so the numbers up in the upper left, that's thanks to MSI Afterburner. Just picked a few. I didn't want to overload the screen with a bunch of I mean, you know, I could have put all my CPU cores up on the screen and just chose the first CPU core. And the most important thing is the frames per second. That's mostly what I'm going to be talking about here in this video. So let's get to the settings screen here, and we'll discuss some of the choices I made here. Now, sound choices, I don't know how interesting that's going to be to anybody, but oh, and by the way, I should mention that I am not playing with my gaming keyboard and mouse. I am playing with the PS4 DualShock controller. Because this game I think is going to be well, it's not going to be a lot like Witcher 3. I just assume because it's CD Projekt Red that I'm going to have, and with my own gaming history, with my own preferences, I'm going to have better luck with the controller than I am with my gaming keyboard and mouse. Now, some games it's the exact opposite. I would much rather be playing with my gaming keyboard and mouse. But I don't think that's going to be the case with this game. Anyway, this the sound options, if any of that's interesting to you, there it is. Controls. Now I've messed around with some of this stuff, and actually we don't want to. These are keyboard control. No, these are yeah, just this stuff. I don't think is terribly. Did I go over this stuff? I think I did. And I think I set these to the way I wanted to a couple days ago. I think I did that. Yeah, this is pretty much left everything default so far for the controller settings. I imagine as I get some more gameplay under my belt, I'm going to tweak a lot of this, but right now I'm going to stick with the defaults. Gameplay. Yeah, this stuff, aim assist. I don't think I want any aim assist here. Aim assist melee combat. Now I may come back if this game is out of my league difficult. Oh yeah, and the difficulty settings. I've got to think about that too. Additive camera motions, weapon sway on weapon, crowd density high, height from third person perspective. Okay, I'm gonna assume all of that. Yeah, nudity. I'm gonna keep the nudity in. Now that's gonna screw me on YouTube, but I'm screwed on YouTube anyway. YouTube has both my gaming channel and my original channel shadow banned, so it doesn't matter. So I guess on BitChute I'm gonna have to label all these not safe for work, and that's okay. So keep that in mind, that if you're following me on BitChute, and if you would like to watch this series, that I'm going to tag them, I'm going to set them to not safe for work. So if your BitChute account is set up to filter, now I think that's the default setting for BitChute. That when you when you register at BitChute and set up an account, your account defaults to censoring not safe for work stuff. So be sure to change that so you can see this series. And I don't think there'll be anything. I don't think there'll be anything terribly racy in this this video. All right, so that's gameplay, graphics. See if I can get the scroll bar to, there we go. Okay, all of this stuff, field of view 80, yeah, some of this stuff I'm definitely going to have to get used to or revisit once I have some gameplay under my belt here. Film grain on chromatic aberration I've already set off, and honestly I don't know why I did that. I was going back and forth with a lot of these settings, and some of them I noticed differences and some of them I did not. Lens flare is, I wish they had like I wish there was more than just a binary here. I wish there was like a dial setting, a spectrum, because lens flare is fairly aggressive in this game. It's cool looking, but it's a bit much. Yeah, all the other stuff, I think we're okay with the settings. Okay, so here now we're getting, before I get to this, let's get to video. Second here. Okay, so my video settings, I have VSync off, and that may be why I'm getting a little bit of screen fracturing with OBS running and Cyberpunk running. I didn't want any kind of cap on my frame rate, and VSync will cap it to my display's 60 hertz rating. I want the GPU to determine the FPS, frames per second, and obviously I have maximum FPS off. Full screen because in OBS I am not actually. I had to change OBS to a display capture versus a game or window capture because the fracturing when I chose game capture or window, it was off the charts. And it's funny when you do a game capture or window capture, you don't get the fracturing incorporated in the recorded video. And I'm honestly not entirely sure when you do a display capture if that fracturing gets incorporated in the recorded video. But when I changed to display capture in OBS, the fracturing was minimal. And like I said, when OBS isn't running, I get no fracturing at all. But anyway, these, so yeah, we're at 4K resolution wise, excuse me. And I don't know what the heck, why HDR mode is on none. And there's nothing I can do to change that. My display is HDR, is an HDR compatible display. I think it just means that everything agrees with what Cyberpunk is looking for HDR wise, so there's no reason to set anything. All right, let's get back to graphics here, and let's get to the all-important ray tracing settings. Okay, now I guess before I get into this, I should say that the GPU I have for this setup, the GPU that is eventually going to go into my gaming rig, that temporarily is now in my recording rig, is an NVIDIA RTX 3090. So if all of the rumors are true about it, I've got the king of the recent GPU releases, and I know everybody's having trouble getting at these GPUs, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on one. So you can dump some hate on me in the comments section if you were among the people who could not get a hold of a GPU, but I guess I am one of the rare few that was able to get one. So what we're going to do here is, after I do some character selections, we're going to get used to this GPU. We're going to play around with it a little bit. I'm going to play around. These are the settings that I've done some playing around with it, obviously, already. And these are the settings that I've chosen. And I'm going to mess around a little bit and choose different settings. And we're going to watch the frames per second number change, and you're going to see why I chose these settings, hopefully, when all is said and done here. Yeah, when I'm in these menus, when I'm in the setup menus and the game menus, you're going to see, like, I'm not going to get 190, 200 frames per second while I'm playing the game. That's not going to happen. When we get into the actual game and the ray tracing kicks in, that's when the GPU takes a serious hit and the FPS drops. Now, obviously I could turn off ray tracing, but I don't want to do that. I want to, so what is Psycho? Psycho is a step above Ultra on the ray trace lighting setting. You can be off, or it's weird. It's interesting. The ray trace lighting, like ray tracing itself, does not get a dial to set the different settings. The reflections don't. The trace shadows do not. So all that is a binary. It's either on or off. But ray trace lighting, you get a chance to mess with the level of ray trace lighting that you get. So I've got it set to Psycho because I figure I've got an RTX 3090. I'm going to try to get as much out of it as I can. And I've got it set to Ultra Performance. Now, there's a few settings here. You can either, I suppose, let the game decide. I don't know. Like, this is, what is it? Deep Learning. I forget what DLSS stands for. It is, and you notice here I have these two settings are off. That's because DLSS is NVIDIA's proprietary ray tracing solution. Here we go. You can read it. NVIDIA DLSS uses AI super resolution to provide the highest possible frame rates at maximum graphics settings. DLSS requires an NVIDIA RTX graphics card. And these are AMD's tweaks, settings. So obviously I'll be ignoring these because I do not have an AMD graphics card. To maintain a consistent frame rate, the internal rendering resolution will change dynamically. The amount of fluctuation depends on the complexity of the scene. The internal resolution is upscaled and sharpened using AMD Fidelity FX CAS. All right. So these are both for AMD, and this is for NVIDIA. And like I said, you've got different settings here. You can let NVIDIA's driver or Cyberpunk decide what the DLSS setting should be. And like I said, excuse me. Like I said, I'm going to change these. I'm going to fiddle with them, and we're going to see what it does to my FPS, to my GPU, temperature, usage, percentage, etc., etc. And now the rest of this stuff, I don't think, because I'm not using a keyboard, we're not interested in key bindings. Although I have heard some nightmare stories about, for whatever reason, CD Projekt Red did not get the key bindings right. And I understand people who use a gaming keyboard to play are pretty frustrated with CD Projekt Red for not getting that stuff right. And I feel bad for them, but they should do what I do and switch to a controller. All right, so that is the opening babble here. And I'm going to go ahead and check to make sure that this video recorded anywhere near properly, because I am worried about running the game and running OBS on the same system. So I will be right back with character creation. Okay, it does look like everything recorded okay, or as well as can be expected, with one rig here doing all the heavy lifting. And I should mention that I am recording in 60 frames per second, and that is the first time I've ever done that. Now, on BitChute, of course, I doubt you're going to see 60 frames per second. I know you're not going to get the 4K resolution on BitChute. I think you're lucky if you get 720p on BitChute. If someone knows what, I've asked this in other videos, if someone knows what the actual resolution, the best resolution you can get from BitChute is, please let me know in the comments section. I don't know, and I'm curious what that is. Yeah, I've recorded, if you're watching this on YouTube and if you follow me on YouTube, if you're one of my subs, you know that I've been uploading in 4K, but I have not been, it's been 4K 30 frames per second. So this is a new adventure, I guess, for me in gaming and gaming recording. So we'll see how this works out. Now, I suspect that the real hitch here is going to be the size of the files that Blender spits out after I record and edit and decide to render something. So I imagine these I just have a feeling these Cyberpunk 2077 videos, the series, each installment, I think I'm going to try to keep it to about 30 minutes. Otherwise, my file size are going to be absolutely enormous. The rendering's going to take forever. The uploads are going to take forever. Now I have two better PCs now. I got rid of my old gaming rig. No, well, I didn't get rid of it. I rendered it. Sorry, shouldn't use that word. I relegated it to being just a render rig now. So I have two new PCs, or eventually I will have a gaming rig and a recording rig. And they'll probably be able, maybe I'll be able to render on them, have Blender render on them a lot quicker than my old gaming rig. I don't know. But anyway, the render, I'm worried about render times, and I'm worried about file sizes, and I'm worried about upload times. So I'll probably keep these installments to a half an hour. Anyway, all right, so character creation time, right? New game. All right, difficulty level. Now, obviously I don't have to make a choice here right now. I think, can I assume, I think this game is going to be harder. Witcher 3, the combat for Witcher 3, I should have played Witcher 3 on the highest setting. But I think I was a step down from the highest setting. Can we all assume here that CD Projekt Red is going to have about the same gameplay, melee difficulty? This is, you know, there's a lot more, going to be a lot more range combat, I assume, in this game than in Witcher 3. Witcher 3, you really only had the crossbow when you were underwater or when you were fighting griffins or something. That was like the only range combat you did. But if I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to play it on very hard. And if I find that I'm just not skilled enough to aim my damn gun right, I'm going to go back into those automatic aiming settings, and I'm gonna cheat. But anyway, so again, I'm just making a character now, and I am not. We're not going to do any actual gameplay in this video. I'm sorry if you're looking for gameplay. It's coming soon, I swear. I'm going to start this series as soon as I can, as soon as I finish putting together my gaming rig, which is just going to be, it's going to be so beautiful. So, and I should mention this gaming rig will be, there's a couple firsts here. First time I'm recording in 60 frames per second. And my gaming rig is going to be the first time I did a DIY build with water cooling. And I'll get more into the water cooling once we get into the actual FPS frames per second ratings that I get during when we really start the game. When we're in these menus and stuff, this the FPS you're seeing here is not the true FPS. Okay, because there's no ray tracing in these menus in these settings windows, right? So that's why the GPU is not being taxed right now. Okay, so what does my character want to be? I've put some thought into this, and for my first Cyberpunk series, I think it's clear that I'm going to be a nomad. Now, I think getting thrown right into Night City is not optimal. Now, even as a nomad, I think they get you to Night City pretty quick. But if I do miniseries for Cyberpunk 2077, I'm going to come back and try one of these. I really do think eventually I want to do a corpo, but Nomad, I think right now is the way to go. Okay. Male or female, those are your choices, right? And I'm really tempted. See, select V's body type. V's appearance may sometimes affect the behavior of other characters. Now, it's interesting because before I downloaded this game, actually our FPS is already, oh, you know what? The FPS is dropping because there is a little ray tracing going on in these character generations. That's interesting. Yeah. It's funny what you can learn when you set up MSI Afterburner and learn about a game, and so there's some ray trace lighting going on with these character generations here. So I thought going into this that I was going to be able to make my character wholly from scratch, like the name, everything, but it seems like CD Projekt Red has decided to sort of like with Witcher 3, you have a main character. It's a character-driven game. And they've decided that they've created their own character V here. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a little disappointed in that it doesn't really matter. It's either or, right? I kind of thought that because in the weeks up to the release of the game, I was thinking about my character's name, and I was thinking, a lot of stuff. I was putting thought into stuff that obviously doesn't matter. But the more and more I think about it, being a nomad, being outside Night City, I think my character is going to have a genuine disgust for Night City and the degeneracy and the circumstances that led to the depraved, degenerate, denuded, degraded world that he lives in. Now, obviously, there's a ton of tech in his world, and that would suggest a world that is not degraded. But tech doesn't guarantee that your world is, a healthy world. It just guarantees that your world has a lot of bells and whistles to it. So I was tempted to choose a female character and put that female character through the rigors of such a world. Because I think a nomad might actually blame women to some degree for the world being as it is. Right? This is not a traditional world. This is a progressive future world. And I know some of you may disagree with me watching this, but the women as a whole have made some interesting choices leading up to our real world progressive situation, and I would assume V's world as well. So I'm really tempted to do a female character, but I think for the first time I'm going to go ahead and choose a male character. Okay, so obviously his voice tone is going to be masculine. Let's just
I'm V.
yeah, no.
I'm V.
Yep. Okay, so not much choice there voice-wise. So this is, again, this goes back. It's interesting that CD Projekt Red has really, I mean, they could have gone with many different voice tones for you. I mean, excuse me a moment. Okay, sorry about that. My neighbors were making a ton of noise. Where the heck was I? Right, so babbling about V here. Yeah, so it's not exactly like you have... I guess I should back up a little bit here, and for those who don't know, and probably everybody knows by now, Cyberpunk 2077 is not based on a set of books like The Witcher. It's set on a tabletop game. Now, obviously, the tabletop game didn't come back in the day. They didn't come with a developed character. You made your own character, but for whatever reason, it seems like CD Projekt Red has decided to go with the middle ground here. There's no Geralt to draw from in the Cyberpunk 2020 world. I should say that was the name of the tabletop game back in the day. And I should also mention that I'm an older guy. I'm an old fart. And I did back in the day play tabletop games like D&D, and mostly I played fantasy. I didn't play too many sci-fi or cyberpunk sort of tabletop games. In fact, the only tabletop... I never played Cyberpunk 2077. And in fact, I had to bone up on some little bit on the research about Cyberpunk 2020. And it did seem like it had a really interesting combat system. If you want to look into something that's pretty cool, like a tabletop combat system, I recommend you look at Cyberpunk 2020's combat system. It was something called Friday Night Fights, I think, which is kind of a funny sounding name for a combat system, but it was a really ingenious, well thought out combat system. And I'm not going to go over the particulars here because I'm already babbling away longer than I intended to. But anyway, yeah, so a tabletop game like Cyberpunk 2020 didn't have a Geralt to draw from, but CD Projekt Red went ahead and sort of dreamed up a Cyberpunk Geralt to some degree, because you have like some limited choices here with V.
I'm V.
You know, you only have a couple voices to choose from and blah blah blah. But for whatever reason, I guess it's they wanted to have voice actors do a character, and when you do that, you obviously can't hire like 50 voice actors to do all the different lines. But you know, they're finding middle ground here. So whatever, it's something I'm gonna have to get used to. I didn't expect this, but I'll get over it. I'm not upset or anything. It's just curious. Okay, it looks now. The light, it's weird. There's like a green cast to the lighting here in this setup. He looks more alien than so we got like a skin tone choice here, right? Wow, he's just the green. The greenness is strange, is all I'm saying. It's no matter what skin tone you choose here, V's looking a little sick around, green around the gills there, a little sick. All right, so I think this is a very pale skin tone. This is a pale skin tone, but sort of this is got almost like this almost seems Asian, and this seems European, but I can't, like this, the little colors in the squares don't seem to match up. It's like it's just should have numbered these skin tones, because I'm not seeing, nothing's really resembling the color that I'm choosing here. Anyway, I think we're going to go with this skin tone, and I go ahead and close out of that. Skin type. This is in, whoa, okay, so he's got some blemishes there. Is that, or, okay. Got like kind of a rugged skin type there. That just seems like sort of normal skin type. That seems like he's got, he's been in the makeup cruise room. Not going with that. That, I think that's the skin type we're going with there. Just somebody who's, you know, been out in the sun a little too long. I don't know. Hairstyle. Okay, so these hairstyles, I was going through this the other day. So we're going to go through all of them just because they're pretty funny. Some of them, I'm not going to be choosing any of these. I know in a cyberpunk world, I should have more appreciation for these hairstyles, I suppose. But I don't have any appreciation for them at all, other than the humor they provide me. That one's pretty funny too. They're all pretty funny, actually. And some of them are just outright ridiculous. If I wanted to do, what's Sideshow Bob? Is that Krusty the Clown's sidekick there in The Simpsons? Yeah. If I want him to look like he belongs in some, I don't know, Nickelback or some Creed or some band like that, choose that. Yeah, no, we're not going to be. So, cutting to the chase here, V is going to be bald, just because these hairstyles are. I mean, I guess I could go with that. It looks ridiculous right now because his hair is red. Should choose a different hair color. But that's V. V is going to be bald. So obviously I don't get to choose a hair color. Let's eyes. Now this is different. You get to choose like the shape of his eyes. And once again, we'll go through these just out of interest, and I don't know what ones I'll ultimately choose. And the thing is, like, if you're doing the first person camera perspective, you won't see these face that often anyway. Obviously some of these are very Asian looking. That is very Ming the Merciless looking. There's a reference for the older people in the crowd. Looks like a sort of pensive V there. Very focused, concentrated V there. Now, are we back? Oh, okay. So one. I think that's V. Right there. Eye color. So let's get right to. This isn't like. I don't know about this. See. Now I should, before we do eye color, let's choose. I'll come back to eye color. Eyebrow type, right? How many of these are there? Are have no eyebrows. He could be bald eyebrow eyes as well. Let's just. There's eyebrows don't interest me that much. It's interesting that they would give you a choice there. Eyebrow color. Oops. Let's go here. Again, this is. We'll give him like that. I don't know. There's not much difference. Is it the lighting there? I guess you can see a difference there. This is a bit grayer than that color. All right, we'll just stick with that color. Nose. Okay, nose type. Got a sort of strong aquiline nose there, right? Got a kind of a pudge nose there. That's Plantagenet, I would call that nose. We'll give V that nose. All right, mouth. I don't know how interested I am in his mouth. We'll give him that mouth right there. I'll go through the rest of them. I'll remember number 5, but we'll go through the rest of them. Like he's got the puckered look there. He's got kind of a frowning mouth there. He's got I don't know. I guess for some people these really matter. I'm not. Got a kind of got a fish mouth there. Yeah, this doesn't. Not really. My character's mouth is not something I really take a lot of mental energy to envision. So we're just going to stick with number 5. There you go. Jaw. All right. So this, I guess I can give him a, strong jaw. We're on number 4 for some reason to start. Let's get back to number 1. And these are going to be, oh, I see. He's got, yeah. You're really only going to be, like, you probably wouldn't even notice this unless you were going back and forth to different jaw types, you know? One of those things that's kind of relative, really. Let's just pick no. Oh, well, I'll go through the rest of them so you can see what they look like. But probably going to stick with number 7 or number 10. Just give him his, you know, like he doesn't need to have a skinny face. He doesn't need to have a real chubby face. Doesn't need to have no chin at all. Doesn't need to have a jutting chin. Yeah, so we'll check out these. It seems like I'm going back and forth to the same one, but the numbers are different. Seems like I'm going like between one and, like, I'm not seeing a terrible difference between these. All right, so what did I say, 7? Was that, yeah, let's just stick with 7. It looks pretty normal. Ears, I don't know. I'm going to be wasting time going through these. I don't care about it. Let's just stick with number 1. If ears really interest you, I suppose I could do another. Does he always have earrings, no matter which ears you choose? Yeah, I think he does. All right, beard. This might interest me. What kind of beard do I want to give him? All right, I got some pretty. Whoa, got some pretty cool choices here. That would be like a real standard beard, wouldn't it? That would be pretty standard there too. That's actually kind of working for me, but it's a little too Fu Manchu. I might come back to that one. That one's not bad. That one's looking very Confucius. No beard at all. All right, so got 5 o'clock shadow there. So we've seen the choices there. I'm thinking this is V right there. Now, didn't I choose beard style? Oh, I see. All right, so I can fiddle with it a little bit. We're back to 1. Let's just stick with that one. There you go. Beard color now, is this set to, I think this is set to, yeah, like you wouldn't think that would be the color that, that looks green, but this square choice does not look green at all. That looks, I want it set to the same color as his eyebrows, but I guess I'm not going to get that choice, am I? Yeah, now, how, that's like blue-green. How would this square tell you that he's going to have a blue-green beard? I don't know what's going on with the selections here, but I'm going to stick with that one. That's as close to his eyebrow color as I can. Okay, so this is why I waited on eyeballs, because I am not going to give him any of this stuff. The reason why I'm not going to give him this stuff is because the V that I envision is not into all these cosmetics. If he gets cyber enhancements that require these things, if there's a function to the form, then we'll go with it. But just going with these cosmetics for no reason, I'm not terribly interested. But I'll go through them so you can check them out. I have to admit they're pretty cool looking, some of them. Like, you know, that's pretty cool, but it's not the V. That's all part of the world that V doesn't like. V finds that the V that I'm going to develop here finds all of that stuff highly unnecessary. Now, so the only real cosmetic enhancement we're going to go with V is the eyeballs, and we'll get to that in a minute. So facial scars. I don't consider these enhancements. I consider them, whoa. That is very like Mesoamerican there, I guess. Is what we're looking for there. Now I guess those are intentional scarrings. We don't want intentional scarrings because that's more like cosmetics. And I don't even know, I think oh yeah, okay. So we can rotate here with the L2 and LR1. So he's just going to have a permanent black eye, and that's considered A scar? That's interesting. I might do that. All right, so we're gonna give him like kind of acne scarring, I guess is what. It doesn't exactly look like acne scarring. It looks like just let's yeah. I think we can. What would lead to that kind of scarring? Is that like just a skin condition? I've sort of seen people with that scarring, but I always assumed it was like acne scarring. But we gotta give him some kind of character, so he's not a total, I guess, pretty boy, cyberpunk pretty boy. I don't know. Facial tattoos, we're not going to do that, but we'll go through them. Let me get him facing the camera a little more here so we can check him out. Sinner. What does that say? Lethal. He's a lethal sinner. Yeah, no, we're not going to... Apparently he's a product on a shelf with that tattoo. Now he's... How would I... Is there a way to get him... How would you even see what that is? Oh, okay. I see. Got like an Asian tiger of some kind, an Asian, yeah, I guess that's not a dragon, right? It's more feline. All right, no, you're not getting that either. Okay, got neck tattoos, looking very Christian, cultish neck tattoos there. What's that? It's kind of like the roses and stuff are reminding me of that, that sort of, I think it's Spanish facial tattooing that makes you look like a skull, and they always seem like, puts like the eye sockets around your eyes and darkens your nose, and it's a style that style of tattooing I can never remember. And I think it's actually a temporary sort of Halloween time-specific tattooing, but anyway, that kind of reminds me of that. But okay, what do we got here? We've got, looks like 940. We got very gangland tattooing there. What does that say? Sin. Okay, a lot of sin in the tattooing, isn't there? Yeah, it's kind of like this, but less cyberpunky looking. Okay, I mean, I guess if you're into tattoos, some of this stuff is pretty cool. They must have enlisted a real tattoo artist for this stuff, but I'm not big on the tattoos, and my V is not as well. Piercing, he's going to have no piercing either, so we'll go through the piercings so you can check them out, but no, not into it. I'm into piercing less than the other stuff. I would do the other stuff first. What piercing? Where do I even want to know where the piercings went? I have a feeling. Oh, okay. So I was just gonna say, like, why is it? What's in his ear? There's just a weird. Oh, there's a weird lighting shimmer there. I thought he had something in his ear there. Because there are other places you can be pierced. So yeah, no piercings. And what is that? Must be some kind of cybernetic connection there. It's interesting. So you can't. I guess you can't opt out of that. All right. Teeth. All right. We can have silver teeth, gold teeth. Actually, yeah, gold, and I guess these teeth. Beacon. Yeah, that's platinum, I guess. Yeah, no. Okay, he's just gonna have regular teeth. We're not gonna have any eye makeup. Why am I defaulted to an eye makeup here? Well, this is just okay. Yeah, no. I was on 8, so he's got. Oh, I see. He had like eyeshadow on his eyelids or something there. Yeah, no, we're not doing any of that. Okay, you can stop. Sneering, no lip makeup. No, I mean, if you're interested in any of this stuff, blemishes. Okay, where is this? Where is he getting blemishes? Is it blemishes on his body? I'm not particularly concerned about blemishes one way or I could randomize that. I wouldn't care. Nails. Okay, so yeah, so now we're, no, it doesn't want to zoom out. I just, no, what happens when you, yeah, it gets like goth kind of nail color. No, we're not doing any of that. Just go back to, well, how do I get back to, where's, all right, so now I've got to, oh, I see, you can, you can have flames on his nails. Let's just go to natural nail color. I think that's what that is. I can't even tell. Is this natural nail color? No. I'm pretty sure that's natural, so we'll stick with that. Okay. I can change his nipples. Okay. We'll go through the body tattoos here, just out of curiosity. Like I said, I guess if you're into tattoos, some of these could be pretty cool. Not big on the body scars. We'll get him some scarring here, although we're so far away I can't even see what I'm choosing here. So, I mean, if they're gonna give me a character and not allowing me to make my own character, I'll make him like Geralt. I'll give him some body scarring. There you go. I'll have some Geralt-like scars there. Genitals, I don't care. There you go. You can choose penis size if you care. No, don't care. All right, so after all of that, so the minimalism on like the facial tattoos in general, the cyberware, that's, I wanted to get to all of that stuff and then get back to eye color. Because the one thing I think, we'll go through all of these here, just if you want. It's really with the lighting, it's hard to see, but you can sort of see his eye color changing there. Yeah. I guess, yeah, you got bloodshot. These are all the same colors up there, but he's constantly stoned, I guess. And you get some really interesting stuff down here. I'm going to give V. Because I opted out of everything except for scarring, I want to give him some freaky eyeballs. Now, I'm torn here. I'm going to go through the rest of these so you can check these out. Because there's a couple of choices that I think I'm going to narrow things down to. And I haven't quite made up my mind yet. But I'm looking at either that or these eyeballs. Now, this is a little too demonic. I was thinking about going with this, but it looks too candy cane-like. I think these are gonna be these eyes. So he's pretty minimalist everywhere except for and the eyes are the viewport to your soul, right? So it gets V because I don't want to make a character that's, you know, like belongs in a fantasy RPG completely. He's gotta have some kind of cyberpunkiness to him, and I think I want it to just be his eyeballs that conveys that. So that's pretty much it for character creation. That's my vision of V. I really think as close to what I've been thinking about, the character I've been thinking about making, as I can get. And all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I will be back in a moment, and we'll start fiddling with settings, and we'll start seeing some differences or we'll see the effects of those settings on FPS. So, and then we'll close out this video, and then the next time you see a Cyberpunk upload, it'll be real gameplay. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so right now, these settings aren't going to matter much because obviously this isn't the game save that I'm going to be starting the series with, or necessarily the final character form. But we should go over these just so we know what they're all about. Body determines your raw physical power in addition to allowing you to force open doors. Each level of body, starting from level 3, will... So that means... Does that mean this level, or does that mean my character level of level 3? That's interesting. Add 5 health points, add 3 stamina points, increase damage with fists and gorilla arms by 3. Increase damage with melee weapons by 1.5%. Decrease movement penalty while grabbing an enemy and wielding an HMG by 6%. What is an HMG? Increase movement while grappling an enemy and enemy grapple duration by 5 seconds. Intelligence determines your net running proficiency. Every level of intelligence will increase cyberdeck RAM capacity by 4%, increase quick hack damage by 0.5%, increase quick hack duration by 1%. Reflexes determine your maneuverability in addition to increasing your overall movement speed. Each level in reflexes will increase your passive evasion from enemy attacks by 1%, increase critical hit, increase crit chance by 1%, increase damage from mantis blades by 3. Are those are the things we saw in all the trailers, right? Like coming out of everybody's arms. Mantis blades by 3. Okay. Technical ability represents your technical know-how. It allows you to unlock doors and use tech weapons. Each increase in level will increase your armor by 5%. Cool determines your resilience, composure, and effectiveness in operating from stealth. Each level of cool will increase crit damage by 2%, increase all resistances by 1%, increase stealth damage by 10%, reduce the speed at which enemies detect you in stealth by 0.5, reduce the speed, the time? It's a weird phrasing there. By 0.5%, increase monowire damage by 3%. All right. So again, I'm not married to any of these, but I think this is the V that I am going to want. I don't want him to be a total weakling. I'd love to increase everything, but I can't. I want him heavy on intelligence and tech ability. So there you go. All right. Looks like we're booting up our biome monitor panel. Roaming the Badlands, looting scrapyards, raiding fuel depots, life on the road wasn't easy. But growing up in a nomad clan has its perks. Honesty, integrity, and a love of freedom. Yeah, I'm thinking everything besides what this world generally offers, and especially Night City. That's what a nomad is looking for, and especially V. Qualities that few in Night City possess and no amount of money can buy. And also, V knows that the power structure is a corporate power structure in this world. And he needs to have the ability to confront that power structure, so he's going to need the intelligence and tech ability. All right, so that's looking a lot like the V. Yeah, see, we're already dry. Look at the FPS up in the upper left. We're down to 69 FPS. Interesting. Okay, let's continue here. Remove patch. Okay. Backers.
Electric coupling module. You said it was nothing serious when I came in. You said you were sure.
Okay. First time in Night City, pay close attention to the tutorials to learn more about the basic mechanics of the game. Or if you're already an experienced edge runner, Feel free to disable hints. Go to the database at any time during the game to access tutorials as well as to read up on the most important topics of Cyberpunk 2077.
Guess I was wrong. Can always look for another shop where they won't ask a lone nomad why he's hugging the border.
Okay, so it looked like not only did I remove the patch, but I somehow put on a vest too while I did that. All right, so we've got 60 frames per second there. Now, this obviously we're gonna, we're dropping down to. Let's take a look at our settings here. Whoops, wrong button to do that. Settings. Okay, so what did I leave off at here? Graphics. I'm wondering if no, we got the settings that I was looking for there. Now I think I'm getting a little bit of a hit here due to OBS because let's get out of. I was more up around 80 frames per second with these settings. And is there anything that I changed here? Let's go to video. Full screen on. Yeah, no, this is don't have any maximum FPS issues. All right, so I think actually when I get my gaming rig, when it's playing on my gaming rig, first of all, my gaming rig specs, CPU-wise, RAM-wise, and motherboard-wise, all kinds of water cooling-wise. This recording rig is air-cooled. So there's going to be a million different ways that my gaming rig is going to outpace this recording rig that I'm playing on right now. So that's hopefully going to improve my FPS, but also when I turn off OBS, I think my FPS is going to improve, and it did on this recording rig. 60 FPS is a little disappointing right now. Like I said, I was getting more around 80 FPS without OBS running. But let's tinker with some settings here and give you an idea. First of all, let's do the big one. Let's drop this down to 1080p. There we go. And yeah, we're going to confirm that. It's going to look a little strange here. Yeah, okay, so we got about 80 frames per second now. Oh, because I'm full screen, right? Let's do this. Let's go. This might mess. No, this shouldn't be a problem actually. Windowed borderless. Let's do that. We'll go ahead and apply that. Yeah. So now as you can see, my OBS is freaking out. It's trying to center it. Okay. Let's get back to gameplay. Yeah. So now I'm more like around 80 FPS now. Like I said, this is about what I'll get when OBS isn't running. I think OBS is hogging some system resources and creating like a little bit of a bottleneck for me frame rate wise. Okay, so there's that. Let's get settings. Oh, you know what let's get back to full screen. Let's get back to 4K. Yep, went past it. Okay, there we go. Yes, I want to apply these. Okay. And we'll drop down more towards 60 FPS, right? Okay, so first off, so take a look at, it's just really, this game is amazing. The detail in this game is just astounding. Look at the paint job on the door and see how, like a beat up old car, paint job isn't the best ever. And you can see the little mechanic stool reflected in The door there, that is ray tracing. Yeah, I know. I'm wearing out your patience. You're going to have to be patient. Yeah, so that's that. There it is. There's the ray tracing and the reflection from the window on the cement shop floor is also reflected in the door. That's all ray tracing. So let's turn that off and look at the difference in quality. So let's go ahead and turn ray tracing off now. Okay, ray tracing off. All right. Now, will this... Yeah, so you get... See how it's... I mean, you get something, but... And my FPS went up to about 100. And the other interesting thing is when you don't have anything... So now nothing here is reflective over by the shelf. So my frame rate went up as well. It's pretty interesting when you get more towards the lighting effect stuff. That's when you take a hit. And so let's go back. Let's turn ray tracing back on. And yeah, on. Okay. And back to the game. And let's see, like you can see the lens flare it's pretty intense in this game. You get a little bit of a lens flare looking there, and there's a light over here that'll give a lens flare. That's a lot of lens flare there. But yeah, so we're back to a realistic ray tracing, and you can see the light reflected in the oil puddle there underneath the lift. So let's so getting back to the DLSS settings, let's get back to that. And right now I should be cheated towards performance, ultra performance. If I turn it off, let's see what happens. Actually, if you turn DLSS off, oof, yeah, look at that frame. First of all, the game is stuttering. It seems like the motion blur is taken over, but it's really, as I look around, like it's just really stuttery, and I got 15 frames per second. So you can see that NVIDIA has designed DLSS to basically allow you to have...
You know, I don't have all day.
Yeah, neither do I, and this recording is much longer than I thought. Yeah, so NVIDIA has designed DLSS to allow you basically to have ray tracing in your game. So you can see how important DLSS is. And I'm just going to try one more setting here. Oh, and you know, I could tone it down from Psycho. Let's try, well, let's do this. Let's go to quality and see what we got here. It's probably going to, yeah, so we're down more like around 30 frames per second. Now, let me set ray tracing for the lighting. Let's set it to ultra as opposed to Psycho and see if I get any improvement in FPS. A little bit, not much. I'm over 30 now, but you know, not much to speak of. And it's really all of these settings, like I guess I see a little bit of a difference there. Let's go to settings. Get this to Psycho and exit out. Yeah, see, I'm not ultra Psycho. I'm not seeing too much of a difference there. And now let's put that setting back to what did I have it set at? I had it set to ultra performance. And yeah, see, I'm not my the only thing, it's almost like I'm not seeing much of a difference there between quality and ultra performance. It's almost just like it's a setting to knock down my FPS. It's strange. Like, I guess my eye isn't trained enough to really see the difference there. is the problem. Maybe after a while, when I get used to ray tracing, because I haven't played a game with ray tracing in it before, maybe I'll see the difference. But yeah, so let's check out just a few more here. This is much longer than I thought it would be. I don't even know how much of all of this babbling I'm going to include in the final video. But if I go to, what did we had it? Yeah, we had it set to quality. Let's go to balanced and let's knock this down to ultra and see what we get. Again, I'm not seeing much of a difference, and I'm at about 40 frames per second. So it does seem like the DLSS setting is more important than the ray traced lighting setting, as far as frame rate is concerned. Like that's really the limiting factor, your DLSS setting. So that's somewhat interesting. And let's set this down to ray trace lighting off. Did we already try this? I may have already tried this, but let's see what that does. Yeah, you almost can't. And it's funny, again, I only get 51. I turn the ray trace lighting off, and I only get 50 frames per second. Again, the DLSS setting is the more important setting, is it not? Okay, so I'm going to set it back to my preferred setting here. Get it back up to psycho and get it back up to cheating towards performance. And we'll see my FPS goes to about 60, and I'm not seeing a terrible difference in any of that.
You know, I don't have all day.
And just for the fun of it, let's do one more setting here. Let's go to custom. What do we want to custom? Let's go quick preset. Presets will provide the best visual. Ray tracing ultra, right? Let's just go to, let's try low and see what we get here. Yeah, you can really see the difference there. So the shadowing's gone. Like he looks weird. That there's no shadowing under the wheel wells for the tires. And we don't have any reflection on the, the shadowing's all off, the lighting's all off. It's still playable. I wouldn't, if I knew nothing about ray tracing, I'd think it looks a little bright, like in the engine and stuff, but I'd still play this game and be fairly satisfied, I guess. But all right, so. And my frames per second, it's funny, it's not even, what's DLSS? Let's, I know I keep saying last setting, but let's just see, what the heck do I have my DLSS? Oh, it's off now. Can you do with, when it's on low, can you even mess with DLSS? No, it makes you go custom. So what happens when you do that? Well, ooh, he's got some weird stuff going on with his flannel now. Got some weird artifacts. Okay, so when I do cheated towards performance, so that's interesting. Like you've got that weird artifact thing going on with the patterns on his flannel and his pants. So I guess that gets washed out when I turn the ray trace lighting up to psycho. Like that kind of gets overwhelmed and you don't see that. But there you go. There's the DLSS difference when it's set to performance versus quality. Okay, so yeah. I hope that was interesting, and I'm sorry to have babbled on as long as I did. And this video is going to be ginormous file size wise. But all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And I will see you in the next upload, and I will see you once my gaming rig is complete and I'm recording some real Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay. All right, see you soon.